The town of Nautical Haven was a quaint, isolated settlement, its very name suggesting a peaceful retreat from the harshness of the world. But for all its charm, the town held a deep-seated fear of the lighthouse perched on the cliff overlooking Lighthouse Bay. The lighthouse had stood for over a century, its towering structure casting long shadows over the bay. Generations had passed down tales of strange happenings around the lighthouse, mysterious shipwrecks, eerie songs heard on moonless nights, and fleeting apparitions of a woman in a flowing white gown. John Harwood, a journalist by trade and a skeptic by nature, moved to Nautical Haven seeking solace after the tragic death of his wife. He'd heard the tales of Lighthouse Bay, dismissing them as mere folklore. One evening he decided to visit the lighthouse, notebook in hand. The evening was foggy, the air thick with mist. As John ascended the winding staircase inside the lighthouse, he felt an inexplicable chill. Reaching the top, he gazed out at the vast expanse of the sea, but the tranquility was disrupted by a soft, haunting melody that seemed to emanate from the waves themselves. Looking down, he saw a figure, a woman draped in white, standing at the water's edge, her song a lament that spoke of loss and longing. As the final notes drifted away, the figure vanished into the mist. Shaken, John descended the lighthouse. He began researching its history and found an old diary in the town's archives. It belonged to Eliza Montgomery, the wife of the lighthouse's first keeper. The diary chronicled Eliza's life, a tale of love, tragedy, and despair. She'd fallen in love with a sailor named William. They'd planned to marry, but on the eve of their wedding, William's ship was caught in a storm and was wrecked on the treacherous rocks of Lighthouse Bay. His body was never recovered. Eliza, heartbroken, would stand by the lighthouse every night, singing the song she'd written for their wedding, hoping her voice would guide William's spirit back to her. One fateful night, she was found dead at the base of the lighthouse, her white wedding gown stained with her own blood. John was deeply moved by Eliza's story. Every evening he'd visit the lighthouse, hoping to catch another glimpse of the apparition. And sure enough, she would appear, her song echoing across the bay. As days turned into weeks, John felt a strange bond forming with Eliza's spirit. He'd find himself singing along with her, their voices melding in a haunting duet. One night, as their song reached its crescendo, Eliza's apparition moved closer to the lighthouse. She extended a hand, beckoning John to join her. He felt an overpowering urge to be with her, to comfort her in her eternal sorrow. He stepped closer to the edge, the waves crashing below. Just then, a hand grabbed him, pulling him back. It was Old Man Thomas, the town's historian. "I've seen many get entranced by her song," he said, his voice grave. "You mustn't join her. She's bound to this place by her grief. But you still have a life to live." John, shaken to his core, thanked the old man. He left Nautical Haven the next day, the Lament of Lighthouse Bay forever etched in his soul. Years later, as an old man, John returned to the town. He visited the lighthouse one last time, standing at the very spot where he'd almost met his end. As the sun dipped below the horizon, he heard it again, the familiar, haunting melody. He saw Eliza, still as young and beautiful as the day he'd first seen her. She smiled, a look of recognition in her eyes. This time, there was no sorrow in her song, only peace. John felt a gentle tug on his heart. He closed his eyes, and when he opened them, he was no longer alone. Standing beside him was William, looking just as Eliza had described him in her diary. The three of them stood there, united in death, their souls finally at peace. And as dawn broke, the lament of Lighthouse Bay was heard no more. The curse had been lifted, and the spirits that had once haunted the bay were finally free.